Hi everyone, so today is going to be a bit of a weird one maybe, but I feel like it's called to, and you'll have to let me know if you like this type of content. So it's Armistice Day tomorrow in the UK, 11/11, where there's paid respect to those that have died in the wars, the army, and obviously at the moment there's a lot of protests in London to stop the ceasefire from Israel to bombing Gaza. There's over 10,000 Palestinians killed within 2 weeks and a lot of children. Now, I know a lot of people are still stuck that Hamas started this. There's more to it than that. Gaza is treated like a outdoor prison where on a daily basis water is cut off, energy, sewage supplies, food is cut off for the Palestinian people of Gaza. Now also Palestine was larger than just Gaza, so just given that it's a small area right now, and even if they want to go down a road within Gaza, there's sometimes roadblocks and pavements put up from the Israelis. There's a lot of misconception. Some people say Jews, some people say Israelis, some people say whatever it is, and also a lot of people calling the Palestinians and Gaza Hamas, and that's also incorrect. I can fully go into this because it's very close to things I've looked into and very close to home in a certain way. So I know that the triggers that kicked it off was not just Hamas just decided to kick off. And the rumours around him burning babies and stuff like that is not true either. Now, I do think a ceasefire needs to take place. I think what is ridiculous is that we have a UN framework that does not operate in fairness for all countries, and countries that operate and have the most power, where there's most resources and money available in terms of exchange of trade, exchange of monies and solidarity for the individual countries, then that country wins the support of other countries. And if anyone thinks that the governments are operating from a true sense of love for a country or justice, that is absolutely incorrect, because it's just a case of being aware of what would be right for future business, for safety of their own individual country, their own individual holding. So why am I doing this? Because this is not only going to be about the UK, but I'm going to take the UK as an example. And so those of us that are in the UK or from the UK or are familiar with the UK and some of the MPs, this is disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. Use your own discernment of fact finding. Will be on high alert on 11/11, and it's probably already on high alert. Okay, now the thing is, there's also been recently a lot around, I think she's an MP, Swella Braverman, and she has made it very out there that she's married to a Jewish man and that she's very pro-Israel, and so much so that actually her speeches are not in the best interest of the UK, but more or less in supporting Israel. Another one that recently I came across, which I was going to do an energy reading and I was kind of disappointed because I really like him, is Jordan Peterson, where he tweeted to Netanyahu, burn them all. And I think that's disgusting. I was actually shocked that that was brought to my attention. But why am I doing this? Because when a country, firstly, the UK are saying that they're not sure they have enough police and army for the high alert during this time. And I'm sorry to say, but you sent half the army to Israel. Was that really needed when, you're operating against, I would say if you were operating against America, then yes, they need more backup, but you're operating from against a small Gaza area, where actually you're wiping out, ethnic cleansing a race. You're basically how we always take an endangered species like a panda and we put it into care to make sure that it doesn't become extinct. what's happening right now is that there's an ethnic cleansing and trying to wipe out the Palestinians who just want to live in Gaza. And the UN function, sorry I'm all over the place with this, but the UN function obviously is a framework to safeguard, to have that it doesn't matter how strong a country is, there's rules and policies that need to be followed, and there's so many that's been broken over years from 1948. Now, why I'm touching base on this, why I've not called this the UK, because I think a lot of messaging that comes through from G-months, so G, fill the letters, months, and polar, I don't want to get censored, I'd like this video to be presented, and even though it's for entertainment purposes only, and you're using your own discernment, there's always a message behind them, there's always something there, and right now they are waiting on edge, like Swallow Braverman, like Fox, like Lawrence, so that there is a riot, so that then can lead to our oppression. Not oppression only of the marches, oppression of us all, okay, in a certain way. Now, when these things, there are high alert days and there's marches, there needs to be respect, obviously, that the marches that are happening in respect of Armistice Day needs to be respected for those that served in the army, and separately the marches for Gaza and Palestine basically asking for a ceasefire to stop need to be there as well. The true essence is for peace, right? The true essence, even armistice, is the essence is at peace, bringing peace to wars, bringing peace to what is happening right now. The whole thing is for peace. For those, so those that are actually there for each of their purpose are not going to cause riots. And what I can see happening is that it could even be someone who is, or a group that's not even from the same nationality, not Palestinian, not pro-Palestinian, not Muslim, and Palestinians as Christians as well. There might be Jewish people there that are against how Israel are operating, or the Zionists, let's say. And there might be Jews there doing, or Israelis also going against the protests. And then you have Armistice Day as well. But it could be even someone who's not white. It could be someone of a different race. It could be someone from a different country who takes the opportunity to cause a riot during high alert. And we've seen that in so many ways. But the problem is when that happens on days like this, is going to be pointing fingers to those that are peacefully protesting for peace, for ceasefire, and they're probably going to get labelled as Palestinians or Muslim Islamists or terrorists, okay? When in fact, these are people that would actually cause stabbings or fights in central London if they were, if you know, just on a normal day, you know, just cause trouble in general. But this is their major opportunity. But the finger's going to get pointed in the wrong direction. And this is where the politicians are going to probably win in terms of what they've been trying to say, which is not true, and then lead to what they want, the division between us. And I'm not saying us in terms of whether it's Jews, Islams, Muslims, I'm saying us all, okay? Us all, even as UK citizens, us all, of even if you're not a UK citizen. The most recent thing is we don't have an army on our borders, so there's quite a few immigrants getting in. You've sent half the army to Israel, so what are you doing to protect your own country? So these are things that I just want to put in, you know, a division of a race, wanting a riot to happen. They want a riot to happen. So I am pleading, if anyone is there, to march in peace for an outcome of a ceasefire for Armistice Day. Don't let anyone trigger you. Don't fall for the trap that is being set up. There's a trap being set up, and the oppression is not going to only be leading to giving certain race or religion or country, nationality a name of a terrorist, but also, and it'll probably be the wrong pointing a finger, but also in the UK as oppression. And when we are oppressed, this is where things like maybe if a second needs to come out, helps them because we're feeling oppressed. There's a division. There's a race division. They want these riots. I mean, I saw, which shocked me, I think she's the wife of, I forgot his name, Sarah Vine. You'll find it if you Google. If I can, I'll enter it into the video at the end. Sarah Vine had a front page newspaper, I think in the Daily Mail, I did write it down, Sunday Times. And I just looked at that title and I was like, this promotes so much hate, yet I'm not sure people are going to see it that way. It was disgusting. It made my stomach turn. And I'm not just saying for the purpose of what she's talking about, but we're talking about politicians, we're talking about G-ments, we're talking about people of higher state that are delivering these messages. When you're delivering messages of, if you are truly seeking peace, and if you are in certain stance, you should not be delivering messages of division and hate messages, and then pointing fingers that people who are protesting for peace and for humanity are actually are haters, are people that are terrorists. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how no one can see through this. So what she put, and I'll try to enter it, is my message to the, is this ignorant snowflakes who desecrate Poppy Day and glorify Hamas. Who's that to? Are you trying to say because there's going to be protests of peace on one side and then the armistice, I think this is supposed to be, they're not supposed to mix, that they're spoiling Poppy Day? It's not even happened. And don't get me wrong, it needs to be respected. The cause of 11 needs to be respected, and both parties need to operate in peace. But again, they are wishing upon a riot. And how did Sarah Vine get this front headline in the Sunday Times to say this? Absolutely ridiculous. It's not even happened and you're saying these things. You're causing hate. You're causing division. You know, what is it? I think I saw suddenly the other day, I think someone was saying that they had someone, you know, quite high up with a voice had said, London is not what it is, you know, London is not this. And what do you mean by this? Do you mean that it should be of a certain, you know, race, a white race or a black race? London has very high African origins. What are you saying? But you're not enjoying, you know, you're trying to say like, because there's so many nationalities in the ceasefire marches, what are you trying to say? And if you're saying that it should be white, blah, 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 when you're very wrong, because there's a high, like I said, there's a high African-American origin in London. So what are you saying? Stella Braverman has made it very obvious that her common cause is actually for Israel, and called these peaceful marches, which have been going on for how many weeks now, and nothing major has happened, but they're waiting on a little trigger. And those that are around that like to cause trouble or take an opportunity, not for the right reasons of other people, that just in general on a daily basis think it's going to be fun or whatever reason, I'm sure if you're from the UK you understand what I mean, are waiting for these things. Or if it's a true terrorist, which could be of a different nationality, a different religion, a different descent, is waiting on these things, yet the finger will get pointed in the wrong direction. And that's when these higher ups are going to say, see, and no one had respect for the UK, no one had respect for Armistice or Poppy Day, when in fact, we need to look at the facts. So, you know, her focus is less about the UK, it's just on Israel. Now, I don't know how, I know she's come into the news recently. We also have, you know, in my predictions, I think it was September, I said Elon Musk is going to be in the news a lot more. I'm not just talking about his new things that come up. I think his wife gave birth, and also right now he's asking for a volunteer in terms of chip for his new, you know, being chipped kind of thing that he's coming out with. But he's also met with a lot of UK MPs recently and Sunni recently, you know, so again, that is something that I predicted. Now, also, I find it interesting that Hopkins and Russunus' return is very interesting timing in terms of the Zionist marches. You know, they've suddenly come up to do their Zionist marches, and that return, I think, is just very interesting, and there's a message behind that as well. I'm talking about Katie Hopkins and Tommy Russunus. The message of war and division, don't buy into it. Do not buy into it. Do not buy into thinking that, you know, everyone who is out there is actually not protesting for peace or the purpose. Don't give them the riots. Now, a lot of people that might go for the marches might not see this content, but this can be for even in the US. Don't feed in, don't give. These are the reason I didn't call it the UK is because a lot of the higher state or people who have voices in these frameworks that I'm talking about will say similar things so that you buy into actually reacting into what they're stating, or the people that will see, oh, UK's on high alert, let's do a test on them. You know, people that like to cause trouble and just do a test and think, you know what, they're saying no on Armony, there's going to be loads of people, we can, you know, this happens in every country. And so just don't buy into, look and use your discernment, and, you know, hopefully content like this can also help, where it's kind of like, I read that, but I didn't see it in that perspective. Don't buy into it. Whatever country you're in, when they're ready to, when they're feeding you these messages, don't buy into it, because they're trying to oppress everyone. And I'm talking about even white UK citizens. I'm talking about every UK citizen. I'm talking about anyone everywhere in the world where your frameworks deliver these messages, these kind of messages that have hidden tactics to oppress, to divide, and to try and control. Playing the disrespect of war, the people that are dead from war are being disrespected when it's not even occurred yet, is trying to cause the hate, is trying to cause a division amongst us, is trying to cause people who just want to protest for peace to feel guilty and lose their vision of actually, it's okay for me to follow this march on this day, but I'm also paying my respect by maybe wearing a poppy, by not crossing over into where the Armistice or the Poppy Day March is, you know, and paying my respects, even if it's from a heart-centered place. So don't get caught up in the day being disrespected. And how can they say that when the day hasn't even occurred? And then be aware of people of state who infiltrate movements, whether it's on the streets, whether it's on social media, whether it's on newspaper columns, because they're doing that for the reason, like I said, division, riots to occur, and then oppressors. And it's not just about the Palestinian marchers. This is beyond that, but that is what's gonna, you know, one thing that I've just delivered, and the reason I say this is, how can they say this before it occurs? And if you look at what I'm stating right now, I'm not even saying that, how can they say this against the Palestinian people or the purpose of peace? I'm actually saying, how are they saying this? They are actually causing hate. They are actually causing division in their own title. They are actually trying to gather people into the movement that Israel is doing is on defense, because Hamas started something. And so innocent people on both sides should suffer. Every title, every speech I've seen, I mean, swell a braver man to sit there and say the things she's, you know, I've hardly seen anything. I just know she's in the news. I don't know, it's saying this might cost her role. This is this, this is this. And I've seen a picture, and I don't really get into politics, but I know that she has said outright that, you know, she's married to a Jewish man, and all her speeches have been, or the titles that I've seen have been on Israel. And right now it should be around the UK. And it's the same with the others. It's the same with Fox and Lawrence. Their actions right now is enabling the state to repress people more. Those three, I want to, after this video, look into if I'm picking up the right energy, because I've not looked into it. And I find politics just a whole shamble. But I am going to. So I want to pull some cards. And the interesting thing right now is the animal deck is also calling to me. So I wonder what's there with that. Let's pull some cards on the three that I mentioned and the truth of what they're trying to do, right? Which is Swallow Braverman, Lawrence, and Fox. And none of them give a TOSS about anyone, other than what I said, causing hate. I mean, the Sarah Vine thing as well. Please, Spirit, show me. First card that came out is the King of Swords, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Sun, the Death card. The Nine of Wands, and the Star card in reverse. So the King of Swords is actually those that are in the frameworks, you know, the G-ments, okay? So they're the ones that are messaging very sort of fast movement. It's kind of energy triggering messages, okay, that cause you to feel some sort of emotion and to get wound up, basically. This is their message. Behind it is this practical plan that you can't see, that could be very slow moving in a certain direction, triggering the emotions, but the emotions in which we need to also listen to our gut and listen to our psyche and not get caught up in it, so that we also see that we have the power within us, as opposed to feeling that we are oppressed, we're isolated, and we've been divided. Doesn't matter who we are, that we don't have a voice anymore, okay? And here is the person on defense. You're wounded. This is like the Wounded Warrior card, where, you know, we've been trying to protest for peace, or we just want humanity. It's not necessarily only about Palestinians, etc. It can be about anything that we always just want a true sense of humanity. And there we go. We're in the Star card in reverse. This is about healing not taking place. This is actually about healing not taking place. Can I just look at it? Oh, actually, I wish I pulled the energy oracle cards. And the Lovers came out as well, which was choices. And then there's the mental breakthrough. Okay, knowing that you have a choice and there's a mental breakthrough, and we can together stick together as humanity. Six of Wands, recognizing the truth, recognizing that we have the power instead of being isolated and repressed, which is what they've wanted. But this says it all. Missed opportunities, loss of faith in humanity, loss in faith in us, you know, in what we're able to do, what we're able to say. The key message is listen to your gut, listen to your psyche. Don't just listen to this. The people delivering the message to trigger you because of the hidden plan behind it. And then we had the loss of faith, the diminishing of us being able to speak, and the choices, okay, of standing up for humanity, the mental breakthrough that we can get through that, being together as humans, and this is all over the world, okay, and being able to stand up for the real cause and real reason, instead of being oppressed like they want us to be oppressed. Split the deck, the Devil card. Pull into my message. Take what I'm saying. Become attached. The Devil card in the other tarot deck is actually the devil and two people chained to him. I think that says it all. There's the World card. Needing to surrender. You feel like you need to surrender. When in fact, using your intuition is going to give you that judgment, that breakthrough, the mental clarity that we saw. When you're not able to see that hidden plan. The Hierophant is where we've got the frameworks in place, the hidden plan of the frameworks that being able to see through that, being able to break through societies or the higher ups messages where we need to, not following what is being told for us to follow, listening to our intuition, making those choices that we can for humanity, but for ourselves. And understanding that there's some sort of messaging behind it. It doesn't take much. That's why I've done this video, because sometimes the light bulb might not go on unless you see this. And this, like I said, I know I do have American subscribers as well. Actually, if you're a subscriber, let me in the comments where you're subscribing from. I'd love to know. It's so difficult to find out, but I do know I've got Americans, so it'd be great to know where you're from, you know, where you're based. You might be from a certain country, but you live in somewhere else. I'd love to know. Yeah, so that's what we get there. And I am being called to Spirit Animal deck. Interesting. Bottom of the deck, Owl. Choose to know the truth because you can. Open your inner vision. You can see through deception. Let the past go and make room for a better life. Rise up. Magic and wisdom are your birthright. I think that's why I'm pulled to it. I feel like now the vessel is clear. Shall we pull a crystal message for us? really interesting. I mean, the cards just flew, did a flow of what I've just been saying. Watermelon, tourmaline, stress reduction, you know, the triggering of stress, and for us to be in that. I mentioned this in October. I didn't do the November predictions. I plan to do it for December. Let me know in the comments as well. If you've not seen September, October, take a peek on how it's done and let me know. But it's about de-stressing your mind and body, and to schedule time to rest, to recharge, revive, disconnect from all that. Tourmaline is also a protection, you know, a protection from energies that are trying to call you in. We had the Devil card. It's also a balance in some of your physical health, all right? It's with the watermelon as well, it's a calming property, and it's just going to help ground you and keep you rooted as well. Keep you rooted in your 3D, but also not being triggered and feeling safe and secure and stable and grounded, not being triggered into fear mongering that's probably happening. Okay, there is also, let me just see something, because it's related to a before I say it, I want to just make sure it's related to health benefit of the body, because I know it's also, you know, and I think it's it's for the heart. It's basically around love as well, and so we're talking about love of humanity, and obviously regeneration, where we said here rest, recharge and revive. Yep, self-love, confidence, but there's, I know that's also rooted, but there's also some, I can't find it, but there's you know, certain crystals that help with, for example, arthritis or respiratory things. But this is really a cooling card, which, you know, has a lot of benefits, like I mentioned, and it really does tie in with the reading as well. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I am not going to be I hope this is recording, because I'm getting a call. I'm not going to drag this on any longer. So please do like and subscribe. Let me know if you liked this reading, and don't fall into the any fear sort of mongering things, because the messaging is not of true, authentic love for human nature, and that's as opposed in everything, not just because of the marches. If you are going on the marches for any, or you're going to watch, don't fall into the riot. And if you can spread that message as well, and even if it's too late for tomorrow, for wherever you are in the world, for the next one, and even obviously the marches for Palestine will go on, the ceasefire basically, and it's really about don't fall in the traps of being triggered by even seeing these titles of headlines where you're like, you know what, you're causing hate, and that's triggering is enough, you know. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know, everyone, and take care, and I'll see you in our next one. Stay blessed as always, and like, subscribe, share this video, let it get out to people, as it's a wider message, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye for now.